Hey guys, how you going? Welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. Today it is going to be a setup tour. Behind this door, this sliding door right here, is a world of random crapola. That's the best way to put it. Now and then I'll get people asking me, hey, what's the story with that? What's that you've got there? What's that going on in the background? I figured I'd just do a dedicated video for what's going on in the background as well as my setup. So in terms of the camera I'm using now, it's the Sony a6700. So I was for a while using the Canon 80D. God, I've had that since 2017. And the thing was starting to show its age, especially like in this new setup where it's not exactly dark, but the lighting is a little bit low. It's definitely mood lighting, so things were starting to get a little bit grainy. But what I'm gonna do, flip the camera around, open the sliding door, and we're gonna start at the front and then work our way back to the shelves and go through everything that is in the backdrop. You see there, I've got an original theatrical Billy Zane Phantom poster next to Chloe's portrait of Paddy. So the first thing you are greeted by right here is Grogu. Now this is the Sideshow Collectibles 1:1 scale life-size Baby Yoda / Grogu. I did do an unboxing video for this on the main channel with my mum and actually did a custom collectible on him to give him some mobility so he can sit down. You're also greeted by a big ass bag of dog food. This is what I have for breakfast. You know, it's got all its vitamins, minerals, gives you a shiny coat, fresh breath. Great. So that being said, this is where all the magic happens. There's a lot of shit going on right now and I will get to every single bit. So let's start at the front here. So usually when I'm working on Etsy orders, you can see I've got a couple right here and I'll leave the link to my Etsy store if you want to check that out. For the big dusty jobs, like when I say pull a casting out of the mold and I've got to clean it up, like Dremel out the eyes and stuff like that, I'll take it to my parents' place where the workshop still is and clean it all up and then come back here and usually paint the pieces. So at the moment, I've started offering these half-scale Nightmare on Elm Street 2 Freddy castings, which is pretty cool. Love working on them. This is the latest one. This is a Michael Jai White half-scale Spawn bust, which is now in the Etsy store. I really had a ball painting him up. So I've also got a few over there that are ready to be mounted on their base. And also the Smiling Part 1 Freddy that needs his eyes, but he has just been painted up. So this is actually the master 3D print that I molded for that Smiling Freddy. And this hat is 70 years old. This is a 70-year-old vintage fedora that is as close as you can get to one of the same make and model fedoras that they use. They used a couple of different brands on the first Elm Street. I'm pretty sure at one point they used a Homburg, which is very similar to this, just the way the crown is shaped. So yeah, we've got those spawns over there. And then I've got the Batman poster, which I've been meaning to frame. And I also have Halloween Kills and a big poster board for our short, well, should I say, feature film, Uncharted: The Oxus Redemption, that I've been meaning to hang up. So yeah, this is where the camera is usually mounted. I got my ring light here. I've got another ring light here just to kind of fill in the extra light and stuff like that. So I do record my audio separately. I've got the Rode Podcaster and then just feed that straight into my laptop. Then obviously there's my desk here. So this was originally from IKEA and then I attached just this on here to make like a bigger workbench, so to speak. So Chloe can use it too. So I do need to actually go back in and re-sand it and stuff like that and give it another staining. So, you know, I'd keep stuff in there as well. I've got some Affleck face castings. I've also got an Affleck mouth plate there that I painted up. Some people purchase them to pop in their Batfleck cowl. So this particular cowl here was made by my good friend Ben Ball from Benable FX. So that's the Justice League Batfleck cowl. So yeah, that's pretty much what goes on in the front here. Again, if I'm working on Etsy orders and stuff like that and I've finished painting them, I'll usually store them down here before I box them up and can ship them out the door. But yeah, a few Spawn busts, got Freddy, got the mini Freddy over here. This is I think the DC Collectibles Armored Batfleck. I think that's the one. Gave him a new cape, new paint job and stuff like that. That skull there was just from a mold that I quickly kit bashed together for the Phantom shoot that I did, my Phantom cosplay a few years ago. And then I've got this beautiful Lament configuration box from Hellraiser from my friend Will. And that box that it's in is just from Kmart. And originally it had another box inside of it. And I kind of gutted it and just put the Lament in there. So if I zoom out, give you guys a kind of big, grandiose look at everything going around here. So what we're gonna do is skedaddle through here. So originally I had this desk here when we moved in. And this is my dedicated study. Chloe's got her own office. But originally I had this here and I was gonna have the camera at the very edge here, right against the wall. I thought it just doesn't look right, it doesn't frame well. So move the desk back. And yeah, you do kind of have to shimmy through, but it works well. I love the way it frames up. So we're gonna go through here, make way for Fanny. Fanny coming through. So obviously this is what I see here. And then out there is our living room. So if we start here, here's a photo of myself and Robert Englund from Shock Horror back in 2012. And that is indeed one of my Freddy gloves that I built and a Freddy's Dead bust. And he wore that glove all day for photo ops and he was such a delight. And at the end, he's like, yep, come on, let's get a photo. Let's hold your bust up too. He was so, so cool. Now this is a part 1 Freddy glove made by my good friend Tony Gill. Absolutely love this thing. The detail is absolutely insane. This is my Trick or Treat Studios Child's Play 2 life-size Chucky. Really do love him. Gave him some extra weathering on the face and stuff like that. This is my pride and joy. This is my Samurai Cop frame poster. If you haven't watched Samurai Cop, please check it out. I have done like a retro review on it on the main channel, but I want to revisit it now that I'm doing more movie reviews and stuff like that, and I've really kind of honed in on how I review and critique films. So I definitely want to revisit this, but obviously have a laugh at the same time.
What does katana mean?
It means Japanese sword.
This on-air LED piece was given to me for my birthday by Daniello and Sarah, who directed Uncharted, and we're about to do Gotham Noir. So let's start at the very top here. So that custom PlayStation controller was made by my good friend Adam Kota, and that was gifted to me at PAX when we had the preview of Uncharted The Oxus Redemption, which was very sweet of him. So he does custom PlayStation controllers and he does a damn good job, gets all the decals made and stuff like that. This was given to me by a fan, the little 8-bit Freddy Pop vinyl. This custom Cosplay Chris Pop vinyl was given to me for my birthday by my friend Taylor, which is very sweet. She had that custom made, which is really cool. This guy right here, this was gifted to me by my friend Billy Mabry, who's a fellow cosplayer, and this is Samurai Spawn. This was the inspiration for my Samurai Spawn cosplay, and I remember having this as a kid. It was like ripped to shreds, but Billy found one mint condition. Now these guys here, these are reproductions. I don't know if you guys remember the Movie Star Turtles line from when the second Turtles film came out, and I was obsessed with these figures. I think a lot of people were. Like now, mint in card, they go for like 250 USD, but these are reproductions that came out a couple of years ago. The paintwork is a bit cheap, and it's definitely one of those boomer things where it's like they don't make them like they used to, but it definitely is the case with these ones. They're a bit cheaper. It's cool just to have them at the same time. So it's the closest I'm ever gonna get to having them mint in card. There's my YouTube play button for hitting 100,000 subscribers on Cosplay Chris. I got that back in 2016. This right here comes from a screen used mold from Bill Tesarakis, who worked on Freddy vs. Jason, who unfortunately is no longer with us. This was made by Josh Ludman, and the mold was purchased by Sean Clark. I'm sure if you're in the horror community, you know the name Sean Clark, and they made 20 of these, and I got number 19, which is very cool, from Freddy vs. Jason. And what we have right here is a mint McFarlane Toys Movie Maniacs Line 1 Freddy Krueger, which I always wanted when I was a kid, but they were unfortunately always sold out. Now here is also a gift from my friend Karush, who was in Uncharted The Oxus Redemption. This was his brother's. And again, like Freddy, I'd always want this when I was a kid, but they were always sold out. And anyway, his brother was gracious enough to gift this to me. And this thing is mint condition, like the card is dead straight, it's crazy. Now this piece right here was made by my good friend Oliver Schwartz, who's a very talented artist overseas, and this came as a resin kit, Tweety Bird, but a very aged Tweety Bird with a cigarette in hand. And this is my Freddy's Dead The Final Nightmare glove by Jameson Michael Knapp of Dark Dream Design. I love the Freddy's Dead glove, much like I love Freddy's Dead, even though it's a wacky, stupid film. I love it because it was the first Elm Street movie that I'd ever watched. This is a signed VHS cover for Freddy's Dead that Robert Englund signed for me, which is cool. This is a Hellraiser 3 VHS, original VHS that my friend Cam gifted to me, which is cool. And this is a reproduction Batman comic that a good mate of mine who's a fellow YouTuber, Minty Comedic Arts. I'm sure a few of you have heard of him, who's an absolute treat and just a hoot. He was gracious enough to send this to me, which is really cool. So thank you, Minty. So if we work our way back down here, we've got some more Freddy gloves. This Part 4 glove, the Dream Master glove, was made by Jameson also, who did the Part 6 glove. I love the Part 4 glove. It's so chunky, and I am going through and trying to collect all the gloves at the moment. And this is an Elm Street 2 glove that was built by my good friend Christian Karlsson in Sweden. So made in Sweden, you know that thing is absolute top tier quality. This is my original Australian Elm Street VHS collection. I've got 1 through to 6. Part 1 being the absolute rarest because of that cover. So you see the blood stains on it. You could actually swap it out for no blood stains depending on what type of clerk you wear at your video store, if you're all for blood or no for blood. So to have these all in one is pretty rare, especially because Australia didn't make many back in the 80s and 90s. So working our way along here, and this is one I've had a lot of interest in. This is the Entebbe HD Masterpiece Series Battle Damage T800 from Terminator 2. Unfortunately, this guy is falling apart. If you look at the pleather here, it just flakes off. So I was gonna do a custom collectible of restoring it, but the pleather is so far gone. I mean, look at that. That is the base fabric. That is no longer pleather with leather texture. But there is a gentleman on Instagram who does replacement leathers made of real leather. So I'm gonna put my deposit down. You cannot salvage this. You can try, but it's still just gonna fall apart. Essentially, I'd be masking the problem. Now, this is my bootleg Fire Toys quarter scale Heath Ledger Joker, which essentially is a knockoff of the Entebbe Joker. I love him, and for the price point with all the accessories, it was 500 bucks. So I'm like, you can't go wrong with that. And this is my original McFarlane Toys quarter scale Edward Scissorhands. This was given to me in 2014. Unfortunately, the whole scissor action thing no longer works. I've gone in and had a look at the back and he's all corroded, and I love Edward Scissorhands. I love the design of him. I love Johnny Depp's performance. Like, this is the thing, when I collect quarter scales, because these characters mean something to me. They're very special to me. Now, this is my Wes Craven's New Nightmare Bone Claw. This is derived from molds that were crew gifts for the crew on set of Nightmare 7, which is derived from the same molds that Robert's Bone Claw pieces were made from, which is cool. This was done by my friend Peyton Patrone as a raw casting, and I painted it, did the blades, chromed the blades. So the blades do just slot in place, so they do pop out, but I love it. It's so unique and different compared to the other gloves that came before it. And down here is my McFarlane Toys Spawn statue. I bought this at a Supernova convention in 2006, and it's based on a comic book cover, which is really cool. This is my original Buzz Lightyear from 1996, and I still have my name on there that I wrote when I was a kid. Let's see. There you go. Chris Stanley on crude tape. Still there after all these years. Now, this Woody is the Signature Collection Woody, which comes from real data, from scans and stuff like that. I do want to get the Signature Collection Buzz Lightyear, but God, they're so expensive now secondhand. It is absolutely ridiculous. And then going over here, I still need to find room to hang these guys. This is my original Freddy's Dead The Final Nightmare Daybill poster, printed in Australia. And this was done by my good friend Dennis Baptiste, Heath Ledger Joker print, which he did all by hand, which is really cool. So this is obviously a copy, but he does all this freehand. There you have it, guys. That is my setup tour. I hope you enjoyed this little video. I love doing stuff like this and getting all like nerdy with all of my random crapola, but yeah, I'm really just at peace with my setup now. It's nice to have a dedicated space. Obviously with the old study, like Chloe and I were sharing, and it got like a bit cluttered sometimes with all my shit when I'm like working on Etsy orders. So it's just nice to have a dedicated space. Again, thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you're having an awesome weekend. Love you guts, and I'll catch you in the next one.